here is a very interesting one, and one that I don't know. You all might not agree with me. I think most of you will, but this kind of shows how people have no idea what the heck they're talking about or what they're doing, and yet continually make decisions that they think are in everyone's best interest, but never truly are. So, a baby bison, was euthanized in Yellowstone after tourists rescue it. And before I even read the article, look at the picture and tell me right here, what's wrong with this picture? What is wrong with this picture? I don't know about you, but I don't think a wild bison belongs inside a car. Let's read what happened. Yellowstone National Park officials make heroic efforts before deciding to euthanize a newborn bison that well-meaning tourists put into the trunk of their SUV, a spokeswoman said. It's the well-meaning part. I don't really care if you're well-meaning or not. There are limits to things, and the death of the bison calf announced Monday followed repeated failed attempts to reunite it with its herd. Carissa Reed, a Yellowstone spokeswoman, told the Huffington Post. She said the euthanasia decision was not made lightly and followed heroic efforts. In the end, Reed said Yellowstone's resources and mission focused on protecting the natural process, not rescuing animals. Which, to be quite honest with you, is probably the way it should be. This is what they had to do, Reed said. On its Facebook page, Yellowstone explains in order to ship the calf out of the park, it would have to go through months of quarantine to be monitored for brucellosis. I don't know what that is. No approved quarantine facilities exist at this time, and we don't have the capacity to care for a calf that's too young to forage on its own. The baby bison's heartbreaking death, if nothing else, shines a spotlight on pervasive issues facing America's national parks. Some visitors are completely ignorant to the fact that wildlife is, get this, wild. Really, all you need to do is go online and look at it. Social media, Reed said, when asked how often visitors ignore warning signs not to get too close. It's not safe for peoples or the animals. Yeah, actually, for the Huffington Post, this is right on. This is right on. I'll give them credit where it's due. Wild animals are wild animals. When you go into a wild animal, just because it's designed and they're used to people and it's designed for people to be able to go in and see them and they're kind of used to people, doesn't mean that they're pets. It doesn't mean that they're your dog, your domesticated dog. These are literally wild animals that will die every single year because it gets too cold or they don't have enough food or whatever it is. We are also animals, and we have certain we have morals about us, what we do with things and what we don't do with things. We can't save everything, and it would be one thing if this was a super endangered animal that is on the brink of extinction, and if you don't save it, then the species could die. Like, that is a completely different scenario than this. Bison are doing fine. Yes, their numbers are lower than, historic times, but they're on the way up. They're not almost extinct. And a baby bison calf that was separated from his mother. There's a video. Let me see. I don't think the video's on this part. No, it's not. But basically, the video shows the bison calf crossing a river. And it gets separated, pushed back a bit. It's exhausted. It looks like it's getting swept away. And then it wanders up onto the bank. And then these people were watching it, and it walks up to the car, and it's literally like shivering next to the car. and then they decided that, oh, it's cold, we need to put it into the back of the car. So it says, last week, 2 international tourists showed up to the Yellowstone Ranger Station with the bison calf in the trunk of their SUV, despite the park road signs, flyers, and verbal reminders not to approach wildlife. Morgan Warthen of the national parks said in a statement Monday that the visitors who were cited for their actions acted out of misplaced concern for the animals' welfare. In terms of human safety, this was a dangerous activity because adult bisons are very protective of their young and will act aggressively to defend them. Warthen said, in addition, interference by people can cause mothers to reject their offsprings. The visitors worried that the calf was cold and was trying to help. Federal law is quite clear about protecting the animals, the natural process. It prohibits not only the harvesting of wildlife in national parks, but also the feeding, touching, teasing, frightening, or intentional disturbing of wildlife, nesting, breeding, or other activities. Yeah, so basically, they thought they were doing good. These were Canadian people from another article I read. They were Canadian, and they thought they were doing good. And I can understand wanting to do good and the thought of doing it. That's why, like, when there's a nature documentary and there's an animal being eaten, you don't mess with it. If a turtle is walking on the beach and a crab or a seagull comes down and grabs that turtle, people, why aren't you helping? Well, what about the bird? What? So the bird doesn't matter? Okay, well, in this case, if that bison most likely would have died regardless, but now the coyote or the wolf or the wolverine, whatever else is in that area, the fox, the vultures, the other things that would have eaten that as part of the natural process, can't do that because you just put that animal down and the body doesn't go out to nature. Like, there is a reason this stuff happens. You know, at least when it comes to the turtles, they lay 60 to 120 eggs depending on the species because they know 90% of them are not going to make it. It's like 99% of them aren't going to make it. It's only like 1 out of 1,000 or whatever it is that actually make it to adulthood. That's why they lay so many eggs. These bison, they stay in these big herds. And, you know, I think it's usually 1 calf. I don't know if it's per year. I don't know their exact rates. But the calves die. You watch a lion hunt a gazelle. I mean, predators take out these animals all the time. And saving this one might seem altruistic, but in the end, the animal will have to die anyway. And now the other animals that would have maybe this calf would have saved a wolf's life because it needed food. Now it's not going to get that opportunity. It's a sad situation. I'm not saying that, you know, I don't understand where these people are coming from, but they don't seem to get it. When you are in that, like, if I go out and I catch a snake, as an example, if the snake was eating, like, there are times and places for things. If I just come across a snake and I move it out of the road, that's a different scenario than if I came across a snake eating a squirrel and the squirrel was still alive and I go, no, don't kill that squirrel, and I unwrap it. Now, that snake needs to eat too. There are differences. Like, if a snake is crossing the road and is going to get hit by a car, I'm moving the snake out of the road because that is a man-made thing. We got to remember that we are separate from the animals. We are animals, but we are separate. And if it's a natural thing, you got to let nature take its course. If it's a man-made obstacle, I can understand helping out. That's why you turn the lights off when, you know, it's I'm going to go back to turtles. When it's time for turtles to breed, you turn the lights off so that they don't come towards you instead of going towards the water. Like, there are things that we can do that we should do, but you're not helping. And then also all these people getting attacked by bison every single year in Yellowstone. All these videos that are coming out because people are stupid. People don't listen. Elk, bighorn sheep, moose, coyotes are at least 100 yards from bears and wolves. Yeah, so they have to stay 25 yards away from things that probably won't hurt you. And then bears and wolves 100 yards. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get that close to a bear or wolf anyway. Reed said rangers enforce the rules, but in a huge park With 466 miles of roads, it's hard to keep track of all the people that are here, she said. I can understand that. But yeah, keep your distance. Let nature do its thing. If you hit a bison with your car, it's a little bit of a different situation. But if another bison comes up and rams another bison, breaks its leg, and the thing falls down and dies, that's nature. Let it take its course. A lot of people aren't clear about how to interact with wild places. Reed said Yellowstone, this is a wild place. Yeah, the weird thing about Yellowstone is it's got such a huge name that people disassociate the name with the, oh, it's a tourist spot, not realizing that it is literally just roads going through wild country. But several bears in Glacier have been euthanized of public safety after becoming habituated humans, sometimes to the point where they've broken into vehicles to obtain food. Yeah, and it's the same thing with alligators here in Florida. People feed the alligators. Wild alligators. They get used to people. They go and attack somebody's dog or a person, and they put down every alligator in that area. So you feeding that alligator, or ducks, they feed the ducks, and the ducks they end up dying because they can't digest bread, and it's not actually nutritious for them. You're not helping. Unless you know exactly what you're doing and you're trained to do it, you're most likely hurting the animal rather than helping it. But yeah, look at this crap. People. An elk gored this man. That's what he deserves. He walked up. I mean, that picture alone is enough. But stuff like this happens all the time. There was that little girl that got friggin' tossed up in the air not too long ago by a bison in Yellowstone. I'm sorry, but that's bad parenting. But yeah, poor bison. I feel bad for it. I do. Didn't deserve to be put down like that. It's a rough situation, but what are you gonna do? People aren't smart. Thank you guys for watching. I got a Patreon going. DNA Reptiles on Patreon. And I got some cool stuff coming that way. I'm gonna do videos like this uncensored, and then I'm also gonna do some uncensored shorts and stuff like that are just like, you know, you want to watch a snake bite somebody? Cool. I'm gonna put that video up there. You can't put that on a lot of places. You know, I'm gonna also be as unleashed as I want to be. I'm not like a crazy person, but I definitely curse a lot. And I can't do that on here because I want to get monetized. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to make a living doing this. So, hope you all enjoyed this. And, well, I'll see you tomorrow.